There was some quote I read where to know the value of life, you have to risk it every once in a while. Yeah. Which, I mean, to within reason. RAGBRAI is an acronym for the Des Moines Register registers annual Great Bike Ride across Iowa.
What was your record for the most miles in one day?
About 72. 72. Yep, wow. 72 in one day. That was combination of Iowa roads and bike trails and all that good stuff. Yeah, yeah.
That's awesome. So 400, how many miles was it this year?
This year the total mileage was 407, and I made it 402 miles. Last year it was 476, I did 426, but both years I skated every day, at least like 20 miles or more. Actually it was more like 30 miles or more. You know, if you take the percentage, I got closer this year.
It's just mostly because there's a lot of gravel roads. Stuff
well, yeah, so there were some gravel patches this year, but the toughest part is like those runoff grooves for the rainwater and stuff. And like over bridges, there's all those grooves that when they have the straight grooves, they're fine, but the grooves that are going sideways, those are the ones that kill. Like even on 97mm wheels, they're just like, it's like you're standing on some kind of like, I don't know. I don't have a good analogy for this, but you're just like the whole time, and it just like goes through your whole body, and it's just tiring, like way more tiring. It's like doing 1 mile on that is like doing 5 miles on like asphalt. So
vibrates the feelings out of your teeth.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. There you go.
It feels like you're inside a giant washing machine.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. You got all sorts of them. I love that.
Oh man, I gotta be here. It's like playing skateboards to parents all the time.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Gotta relate.
You know, your whole setup came really.
Actually, yeah, it did.
Your whole setup came from Soul Effect and Recon.
Yeah.
Well, you know, after going 400 plus miles on the same setup, what is your review of that setup that you chose to rig up and go with it? You know, other than your trucks, I think, right? The trucks ran.
Well, the base plate is Randall, and then the hanger is Recon.
Okay.
So besides like the trucks and the bushings are Venom.
Oh, Venom. Yeah.
So other than that, everything else is Recon or Soul Effect.
Gotcha.
So the wheels are awesome. I got my old ones over there from last year. They finally broke down. Luckily, it was on a bike trail. My roommate and he hopped on for a day and a half, and we had to skip some of the rough pavement, so we picked that back up on a bike trail that evening. And it was on the bike trail where the wheel just like all of a sudden slowed down immensely, and just like it sounded like I had a flat tire, but there's no air in skateboard wheels. What happened was part of the hub actually just like probably a section about like that just cracked off, and so that pressure of the axle was coming like forcing the wheel off almost. So.
What's up, man? How you doing, man?
It was the coolest thing on the very last day this year was that this year I was a lot more tentative because I didn't want to hit over 35 and like fall, because just this past spring I fell at like 30 and I separated my shoulder, and I was really worried that I wasn't going to be able to do RAGBRAI this year, but I did therapy, got the okay, and I did it. Anyway, the last day I hit this perfect pavement and this awesome, really long, windy hill, and I was like, you know what, it's the last day, just go for it. And so I just bombed it, and then I passed this whole pack of bikers, and one of them hopped on and started drafting behind me. So there was a biker drafting off of a skateboarder, which was pretty cool. I felt pretty cool about that. So.
I mean,
Anyway, I realized I was going to get a lot of attention for this, and rather than be labeled as just that crazy skateboarder guy, which is still pretty cool, I wanted to be that crazy skateboarder guy who, has a heart, does some good. So I was going to get a lot of attention for this, and I figured the best thing to do, direct that attention to a worthy cause. So that's why last year I aligned myself with the Special Olympics of Iowa and set up a fundraiser with them, and we raised just over $1,300. And this year Lisa Zimmerman reached out to me because she heard about my story last year, and we set up an account with, or a fundraising account with the Tourette Syndrome Association. And at the moment, it's still going to be open for a little while longer. Last year they kept it open for me with Special Olympics till October. This year I'm hoping we can reach like something like that, because a lot more of the funds were raised after people realized, oh, he actually did it. Like, that's impressive. So then they felt more for that story. And right now we're currently at about $650. Well, actually closer to 700, because we got some people on the ride. It was cool. They'd be like, hey man, that's awesome. Here's $5 or something like that. So it's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
So
That is really cool.
yeah, it was a lot of fun.